As the season comes to an end, the Tigers find themselves as the #1 team in the division. Through trials and tough battles, they've managed to come out of the regular season undefeated, sporting a 6-0-2 record, earning 20 out of a possible 24 points. The first ever top-of-the-league finish is followed closely behind the previous season, where they gave a great final push, but fell short in second place. The journey to the peak was an exciting one, so let's take a look at how the guys in green pulled off the greatest regular season in the team's history. January 14th, 2024. As the Tigers arrive at the Bear Branch Sports Fields, a frozen chill adorns the pitch. Below freezing temperatures with wind chills in the 20s embrace the guys, as most are bundled up in an attempt to get warm for the upcoming season opener. First up on the chopping block is the Jerry Hat-Tricks. Being a team the Tigers have not faced before, and with no season standings to review to understand the opponent, a measured approach was the game plan. The field is lined up with 14 people, and one man with a whistle in the center. The winter 2024 season has begun. The Tigers start off quick, pushing the Jerry Hat-Tricks back defensively. Green quickly overwhelming the opponent, put multiple attempts in on target, but can't seem to hit the back of the net. That is until a wonderful bit of play in the 10th minute leads to the ball falling to Chris's feet outside the box. With a rocketed dipping strike gliding to the far post, the net ripples. First goal on the season, and a lead for the Tigers. At this point, Jerry Hat-Tricks have woken up, seeming to grow into the game. While the Tigers have an athletic advantage, the opponent's positioning is proving to be a tough nut to crack. The whistle blows, sending the Tigers into halftime with a 1-goal lead. In the 5th minute of the second half, Yellow finds themselves on a break down the line. A ball played into the box, seeing a fortunate bounce to a man all alone on the 6-yard box. With no need for a better invitation, the ball is buried into the back of the Tigers' net. Jerry Hat-Tricks even the playing field at 1-1. The Tigers make the decision. No more goals for Yellow. A switch is flipped, seeing Green absolutely peppering the opponent's goal. When in the 11th minute of the second half, a breakthrough is made. Joel makes a big save to collect the ball, followed by a pumped throw out to Esteban, who's able to bring the ball under control and drive forward on the counterattack. Mike makes a run across the box, blocking the keeper's view as the ball is hit, allowing it between his legs and into the bottom corner. Esteban makes it 2-1, giving the Tigers their first win, starting the season with 3 points. January 21st, 2024. Another cold evening in the Woodlands, Texas, as the Tigers prepare for the next opponent, WFT. WFT are a fast, physical, and technically skilled team. As the game begins, the difference between this game and the previous one becomes very evident. A rally of possession ensues, going back and forth at high velocity between the two teams. Green getting opportunities but unable to connect, and defensively remaining shaky, but never crumbling, as Joel and Jose start off showing good form. A couple penalty shouts from both teams, but the refs seemingly not interested in either, as the first half comes to an end, with no goals on the day. The Tigers take the opportunity to regroup and restructure. As the second half begins, it's more of the same. Both teams swinging hard, playing physical, and looking dangerous. Then in the 8th minute, the deadlock snaps. Pedro just won a penalty for the Tigers. With all the confidence built up, he goes ahead and claims what's rightfully his, and bags a goal for the stat sheet in a Tigers lead. This moment lights a fire under WFT as they begin pelting the Tigers' goal. Shot after shot, chance after chance, and yet between them and the net stands a human wall we call Joel. John receives the ball on the sideline in the opponent's half, only to be fouled almost immediately. With 2 minutes left in the game, a free kick is awarded. Chris steps to the ball. And as the strike swings in, it falls to John's feet on the 6-yard box. Quick thinking leads John to dummy the ball through as it ripples into the back of the net. Tigers now lead 2-0 with a minute and a half to play. WFT ultimately can't pull out a result, and the Tigers go 2 games in a row undefeated, taking 6 points from an available 6. Joel with his first clean sheet on the league, and what a clean sheet it was, as it put the Tigers on top of the table. January 28th, 2024. After 2 wins in a row, the Tigers walk into their 3rd match with heads held high and brimming with confidence. This match is going to be played against a team they know all too well, Cuervos. A couple seasons ago, the teams met, seeing multiple red cards and the game being abandoned by the opponents and the referee to give the Tigers the technical victory. This evening, however, they would be looking for the opportunity to prove themselves as the better side. The game starts slowly, with neither side truly dominating possession. The game is moving at the pace Cuervos would enjoy, as they're slowing the Tigers down and almost eliminating the pace advantage. And then, as if gifted by the guys in green, Cuervos finds themselves in an advantageous position, and with a pinpoint accurate shot find the back of the net in the 7th minute. Tigers, for the first time this season, trail by a goal to none. Later in the 10th minute, an opportunity finds the head of John from a big throw out of Pat's hands. In what seemed to be a guaranteed goal at point blank, the keeper calls upon some cat-like reflexes and gets a strong hand to deny the Tigers a leveling goal. Tigers continue to try to put one away but struggle to find the back of the net, as the Cuervos keeper denies anything on target. The Cuervos cruise into halftime, up 1. The second half reveals confusion among the team. Cuervos looking the more likely to score and forcing the defense into making some big plays to keep the Tigers in the game. That is until the 13th minute of the second half. A wonderful passage of play down the right side of the field leads to Mike one-on-one with the keeper, slotting it through his legs and bringing the Tigers back level with just under 10 minutes to go. A frantic volley back and forth of possession sees both teams trying to pull 3 points from the match. But in the end, both teams will leave the field taking away a point each. February 4th, 2024. Up next, the Tigers take to the field for a top-of-the-table clash against another undefeated team in Aegis. A fast, powerful squad looking to spoil the Tigers' run so far. This game would prove to be an all-out battle between the two sides. Early into the game, it's a hard physical battle. It becomes apparent early Aegis, similar to the Tigers, have an exceptionally quick and talented keeper. His hands seeming to find every shot the Tigers have on target. As the 7th minute rolls around, Pedro does well in possession in the opponent's box and draws a penalty. The Tigers, with a chance to go up early on, as the man who won it steps to the spot. As he moves for the kick, the keeper is quick to choose a side, and with the ball being struck, is vindicated on the correct choice. He has gambled and won, saving a penalty and keeping his team all square. The celebrations didn't last long, as a few minutes later a wonderful cross from Jason off a corner weaves into a dangerous area and meets the onrushing head of Chris, thumping the ball into the back of the net. Tigers go up 1-0. As the half continues, Aegis begin to push for a goal to avoid going into halftime down. The Tigers manage to hold off the onslaught as the referee blows for halftime. Both teams now with important missions to accomplish. The Tigers look to hold on to some valuable points for the season standings, and Aegis wanting to claw a result out of this game. The game begins again, and the intensity is palpable. Joel and Aegis keeper putting in save after save to maintain the status quo all through the second half. The deadlock holds steady until the 15th minute of the second half, as the Aegis Danger Man soars through the air to meet a corner, and with a thunderous header, the scoreline is tied up, 1-1 between the Titans. Late into the second half, Aegis put a ball into the box. Both goal scorers looked to get on the end of it. One to put away the game winner, and one to foil the attempt. The ball drops, and Chris manages to get his head to it to clear what is almost a certain goal. However, in doing so, a clash of heads occurs. The Aegis player goes down, and Chris walks toward the sideline. Blood has immediately begun pouring down his face. A fitting cap to a battle of two phenomenal teams in the division, as both will walk away from this one satisfied but wanting more, with 1 point apiece. The result drops the Tigers from first to second in the league standings, based on goal difference alone. February 18th, 2024. The Tigers have crested the middle of the season still undefeated, but now scrambling to reclaim their top spot on the table. Their next opponent, the Crew, while not having the best season so far, can't be underestimated as they're tied for most goals scored in the league. As the game kicks off, it's clear the Tigers have a rejuvenated sense of desire to win. While the final touch into the net seems to elude them, there is certainly no lack of chances. Then, against the run of play, the Crew striker finds himself one-on-one with Joel, who makes himself big and smothers the opportunity. In the 14th minute, Chris puts in a strong tackle in his own half, bursting forward with pace. As he gets into the opponent's box, he slots the shot over the defender's foot and keeper's outstretched hand to fizz into the side netting. 2 minutes later, Pat makes a pushing run out of defense. Like a freight train, he forces his way through the middle of the field, eventually laying the ball off to Henning, who's able to pick his head up and place the ball into the back of the net. Tigers lead. As the Tigers take their foot off the gas, the Crew spots a crack in the armor. Only maybe a minute later, they manage to get their foot in the door. A great through ball splits the defense, coupled with a lovely first touch and determined finish. The Crew have now fought their way back into the game. As the game plays out, it's all-out chances here. Both teams making the other sweat as shots ring in and dangerous positions are taken up. But just before halftime in the 21st minute, Robert and Henning combine for a well-orchestrated goal, as Robert slots one home into the near post to regain the two-goal cushion for the Tigers. The second half seems to fly by with no real action, leaving the scoreline from the first half to conclude the game. Tigers take the win, 3-1, and 3 points, which puts them at the top of the table by a single point. February 25th, 2024. An old foe appears on the horizon for the Tigers. RSGA Retro was the previous regular season final match, and the first ever recorded video. That game saw a total of 9 goals and a win for the guys in green. The Tigers, hunting for a repeat performance despite being short on substitutions. From the jump, Tigers are the dominant force in the game, maintaining a vast majority of the possession and locking up the defense to keep RSGA Retro from finding any truly dangerous chances. This play culminates to a brilliant piece of individual play in the 6th minute, as Pat receives the ball deep in his own half. He takes the open space and makes a full field run before finishing an exceptionally well-placed shot into the bottom corner to give the Tigers a 1-0 advantage. This game would see an interesting development 5 minutes later as Chris rises heading the ball into the net for a 2-goal lead. But shortly after kickoff, an awkward touch sees him take an injury. Now 11 minutes into the game, the Tigers find themselves 2 goals ahead, but with the ability to sub limited by a player. Play resumes and both teams appear to be pushing aggressively. Robert sees a shot rocket off the post, and RSGA nearly sneak one into the back of the net off a set-piece play. During a frenzied moment just before halftime, Fernando takes a knock to the shoulder. He immediately heads off the field, dropping the Tigers subs to 0. Luckily, the dual-rostered Henning was attending to watch. For the Tigers, he was able to suit up and give at least one option on the sideline. As the game progresses after halftime, RSGA seem to have found their groove. Joel is called upon in the 10th, 12th, and 15th minute to keep the opponents at bay with important stops. The tactics quickly shift. Recognizing the tired legs, Albert decides to organize the team to sit defensively and lock up shop. Through determination and tactical awareness, the Tigers managed to weather the storm, securing 3 points, and Joel coming up with an important interventions to grab his 3rd clean sheet of the season. March 3rd, 2024. With 2 games left in the season, the Tigers are sitting atop the table looking to close out. One of the teams standing between them and their title hopes is Tejan Demil. Tejan is in a battle of their own to establish themselves in the top 9 spots to be invited to the postseason tournament. Both teams come into this game with a purpose. The match starts off quick, with a couple of quick opportunities. In the 3rd minute, Tejan Demil puts in a good ball, which is met with a header deflecting off the post. The follow-up ball receives a snapshot on target, which Joel is equal to, making a great save. The Tigers take the opportunity of Tejan being caught in transition and bombed down the pitch. Robert threads the needle to an onrushing Esteban, who sees his first shot, saved, only to fall right back to him where he buries it, putting the Tigers up 1-0 early in the first half. As the game plays on, Tejan Demil seems to be getting the better of the Tigers, forcing Joel into a diving save just 2 minutes later. The guys in green seem to enjoy going against the run of play, as Robert steps quickly to win a ball off at the top of the opponent's box, and rockets a shot into the top left corner, giving the Tigers a 2-goal lead less than 7 minutes into the game. From this moment on, defense became the talking point of this match. Tejan's goalkeeper makes several good saves to keep them in it, and the Tigers' defensive unit works to snuff out any chances for the Orange. Much of the same for the second half. A back-and-forth battle sees the game without a goal until the final embers. A penalty is won by our opponent, and a chance to spoil the Tigers' clean sheet has presented itself. As the shot's taken, everything would indicate a beautifully tucked-away PK in the top corner until a thump of the crossbar rattles out. Bouncing down and out, the opportunity goes wanting, and the Tigers walk away with another clean sheet and 3 points to put themselves in a lovely spot going into the final game of the season. March 17th, 2024. As the rain falls on a cool night in March, the Tigers prepare for their final match of the season. The way everything is played out, a win or a tie sees the top of the table clinched. A loss, and they would likely see them fall to second. The green guys laced up with the intention of becoming champions. Stillwater strikers stand in their way. The game begins, and out of the gate the Tigers play fast and furious. All-out attack is the plan, and it ultimately leads to the first blow. Jose laces a perfect pass through to Mike, who manages to lay the ball off to Esteban, slamming it into the back of the open net for the lead. While the rest of the first half plays out, Stillwater begins to find the weaknesses and attacking style of play from the Tigers. While goals late in the first half put the Tigers up 3-0, the opponents are starting to find their way through. As shortly before halftime, Joel sees a shot just skirt by the far post. That momentum from Stillwater would carry into the second half. In the 3rd minute, Tigers give up a penalty, which they're lucky to watch sail past the wrong side of the post. However, the Blue weren't done yet, as they win the ball off Green and see a shot ricochet off the post. And in the same minute, Stillwater strikers pick up the ball and manage to force the ball into the back of the net to narrow the Tigers' lead to 2. Throughout the beginning of the first half, the teams go shot for shot. Esteban snagging a goal in the 5th minute, only to be followed up by another Stillwater strike in the 8th. The game flows fast and furious, the pressure rising, and John in the 11th minute puts a stop to a movement by Stillwater, winning the ball for Esteban to slide it along into Pedro, bringing the score to 5-2. In the next couple of minutes of the match, the staggering form of offensive prowess by both teams continues, seeing a PK awarded to each team, both of which were converted, bringing the tally to a staggering 6-3 scoreline. By now, the Stillwater strikers are pouring efforts forward. Time is running out to pull a result off, and the Tigers, seeing their opportunity, use their big man up top in Mike to slot home another 2 goals late in the second half. At the death, the Tigers give up one last goal, being scored on as much this game as they were for the entire season prior. But for Stillwater, the excitement has come too little too late, and the Tigers walk off the field victorious. 8-4, the final scoreline, and with it, history made for the club. As the dust settles and the victory sinks in, it all becomes clear. The first regular season to see the team finish top of the table. The entire season, every player on the team put in enormous effort. Game after game, a battle to the finish. Undefeated, unstoppable, unforgettable.